Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome. Apologies for the slight delay, guys. Once again, I've got technical issues on my end, this time with my brokers, with my account. Yeah, so I'll let you guys in on that. But anyway, guys, without further ado, we are back. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. So the good thing is I am here. Bad thing is I can't open any trades at all. I'm on to chatting with IC markets as we speak. I have issues with my account. I can't get into my live account for whatever reasons. It's not logging in. So what to do? I mean, on that note, I'm still going to call trades, but I can't take anything for the time being until that issue is fixed. When it will be fixed, I have no idea. But anyway, there was an update. I can see my terminal has actually changed quite significantly. It looks a lot different. It actually looks a lot better. I'm not sure if anyone else has seen an MT5 update. I'm not sure if anyone else has any issues getting access to their account. Have checked my profile to make sure that the funds are still there, which I was first thing I was worried about, but it's definitely there and they realized that. So recognize that, which is good. But I just cannot access my terminal for whatever reason. So on that note, we will begin, guys. Hope you're all doing better than what I am to begin today's trading session. Guys, you know the drill. If you could, please, YouTube, I'm doing my best here, so you guys need to help me out and smash that like button. TikTok as well, smash that screen for me. And we can get cracking with the analysis. Any charts or any questions, anything you'd like me to look at, please feel free to send those into the chat. And I promise to get to you guys shortly. Without further ado, let's quickly have a look at the news to begin to see what, if any, scheduled news we have for our session here today. So we have some French news shortly. Low impact news, so nothing of significance really. So moving forward, there is some high impact news to come into the MI session with ISM services PMI. So that's something to be wary of a couple hours into the MI session. But guys, let's get underway and let's have a look at the gold. So starting with the gold and looking at it now, first of all, in the weekly time frame, we can see we do have that high, low, high, high. We have so far done what it would likely happen on most occasions when we close, as we did in the previous candle. Create a bit of a low wick, begin to break the high and push bullish. But let's see what we've got in the daily here. So we do have counter probabilities being to the upside on the weekly. Previous daily also closed back bullish. High, low, high, high. Current candle inside bar candle. So we've created the upper wick. At that point, we've formed resistance. So we'll mark that level in. And at the low, well, looks like we're potentially breaking some minor support now at the daily low, which was the previous 4-hour candle's low. So the 4-hour, structurally, we are in an uptrend now. We did flip the structure off the back of yesterday, obviously the big bounce yesterday. You guys remember yesterday I was bullish as well. Was only interested in buying it. In the end, that was the right decision. Didn't get an opportunity to personally trade it, but still was definitely the right direction. Moving forward here today, we are breaking that 4-hour candle's low, and again, it's likely going to be some minor support on the 15-minute time frame. So I'm just going to mark in the highs here at resistance, and we'll make our way down to the M15 shortly. As far as support, the most recent support is this point here on the 4-hour, but onto the 15-minute time frame. And what we can see is the structure is still technically bullish too here on the 15. So we're still bullish across the board. Got a little bit more confidence to potentially sell it moving forward here today. Within the daily candle, the structure is forming bearish. We've recently just pulled back at formed support within the daily low. At the it created the Asian session low. We're now breaking below that point there. So what I really like to see is, first of all, this candle to close below, following candle to pull back to tap back into that level and begin to reject, and off the back of that, there could be some potential entries to take a sell. Now, probably just mark in that level for the time being. What we often see, something we've noticed as well though, and this is even more probable, is if this candle, for instance, closes back bearish, followed by one more candle which flips and closes back bullish. I haven't even got my, sorry, I'm just all over the shop, guys. Let me get the Zoom call up so I can start to annotate. Yeah, so if we did close back one bullish candle, only to engulf that, that provides us that interruption candle, which we often see price pull back to tap in, to retest before making the move to the downside, the continuation to the downside. So I will call potential sells in perhaps a minute and a half, guys. So just be onto that. That's what I would be currently looking at. So potential gold sells below the low of this candle. Now again, we are still in an uptrend, and that uptrend remains intact on the minor time frame, really, as long as we remain above this support. So even if price was to just melt and no opportunity to actually sell it, I'd be looking for some support to form from a little bit lower down to look for a potential buy from these lows. So buys from that previous resistance, which was turn support, and otherwise I'd be looking for sell options. So what I'd be looking at now, if this closes significantly below the low, sell limit orders, guys, a bit of play here. So wait for this candle to close. It has to close minimum of about 10 pips below. We're pretty much at that point, so around 8 to 10 pips below. So pretty much where we're at just now is where we want the price to close, and if that is to be the case, then I will put this up as a potential option for a sell limit, guys. So we wait and see how this candle closes. Once again, I can't trade at the minute. I cannot access my account, so sucks to be me at the minute. But anyway, what I would prefer to see is this candle leave a little bit of a low wick. If it closes without a low wick, I'd wait for another candle and see how that closes. If it closes back bullish, you may get your pause. So it's closing with no low wick. Wow. And look at that, it's popped straight down. All right. Yeah, there's nothing off the back of that, because my rules are there for a reason. I want to have a wick in the direction of that particular candle. I want it to leave a wick prior to any entry, because often what is followed is a candle closes back in the opposite direction, and usually with a lot of strength. So we'll see. Further potential options here on gold today. Look, if we've begun to pop back above the Asian session range low, back above this support, once again, we are still in an uptrend. And it was, for instance, what we're looking at yesterday, which eventually presented on the 5-minute, guys. Bit of consolidation, price begin to clear that consolidation with minimum a 15-minute bullish candle prior to the entry, and that could be a potential buy. It did actually present yesterday, guys, not long after the stream, around this point here. Let me just show you, for those who were paying attention. You may have been able to execute upon the trade, guys. Remember yesterday I was saying wait for, first of all, a 15-minute closure back bullish, and then wait a minimum a 5-minute closure above the consolidation here, which eventually got this point, and that would have been enough to secure at least about 30 or so pips off the back of that move. So well done to anyone who may have took advantage of the analysis towards the end of the stream yesterday. So that is my opinion on the gold for the time being. Let's now turn our attention to a GJ. Can I trade? No, I can't. Still cannot access my account. All right, so let's quickly start again with GJ here, and we can see the weekly lower high, lower low. So what we're going to do is mark in the high and low. See what we've got either side of that. Seeing we do have lower high, lower low, there really is not much of a need for us to pull back up and break our own high. Let's look at the daily. Close back bearish, leaving a long upper wick. Current candle has literally tapped into that previous daily candle's low and is bouncing back up. So if we begin to flip and break our own low, I do feel that there is potential for price to come down at least another 30 pips to the daily support. 4-hour structure technically still remains bearish, so it looks like not much has changed in regards to the bias here on GJ. Here's the most recent resistance. Daily low is where we've got the most recent support. Below, we've got a little bit more margin here on the 4-hour. Yeah, so definitely got the margin on the 4-hour. Now onto the 30-minute time frame here, and I just adjust these zones. And all right, so we can see that is also technically bearish, and it will remain bearish until this resistance. So exact same story for me today on GJ. I would look to sell it, and it would be a matter of where from. So if it pulls back, I'll be looking for a sell opportunity from preferably around that 195.90 sort of region. If price was to pull back to that resistance only to once again reject, I can look for potential sell off the back of that. However, we have just broken through the highs of the Asian session as well. We're at some resistance here to the left. So if we did begin to reject at this point and end up back below that resistance, back below the Asian session range high, then potentially we may have an opportunity off the back of that to look for a sell to take it back down towards the daily low. For further potential options below that point there, we do have some clean traffic to the left. So I would also be considering continuation sells below the daily low on GJ. That is my opinion of GJ. Hopefully that makes sense. So very bearish on it. Just a matter of where to get involved in the potential sell options. Now, finally, last but not least, looking at German 40. And let's just remove these drawings. So the indices have had a bit of a pullback. Strong push off the back of last week. Nice bounce back, forming very strong bullish in the current weekly. Right smack bang around that 50% that previous weekly candle. You guys remember what I feel about the importance of that particular level there. So if we begin to reject, I still believe there's a chance that we could end up back near our low and potentially take out the support or retest the support here at 23,162 on the higher time frame picture. Now back, make our way down to the daily time frame. Counter probabilities are to the upside here on the daily. Do have high low high high, strong bullish candle on that previous daily candle as well. But at the back of that, then there's probabilities of price pushing deeper and back towards the all-time high territory and the resistance around 24.30. However, seeing we do have a lower higher high higher low, there is not much need for us to pull back down and begin to pop below the support formed at the daily candle's low. If we do so, I believe there's a high probability we could make a deeper pullback and may in fact be rejecting this previous support here to the left hand side. Onto the 4 hour, bit of a pause play just now. We've got an IC candle just there. Still obviously haven't got the confirmation for that entry till this candle closes strong bullish in the next 2 hours. That could be something to look out for moving forward today. We are still technically bearish in structure, however, would mark in that whole level as support, the daily low. Resistance, well, I'd probably mark in the levels here to the left that we are fast approaching. Onto the 15, and that is technically bullish. I still would prefer to sell it, in all honesty, at the back of that previous weekly. And seeing we are approaching that previous resistance, we've not yet retested. So it's previous support. Let's see if it reacts and acts as resistance for some potential sell options from that previous level of support. So 23,916 roughly for rejection. And otherwise, what I'd be looking for is price to come back down towards the support around the daily low. And once again, form support. The cleaner, the deeper the move back down, the more margin then will be to take a buy back up towards the high. So that's what I'd be currently looking at on German 40. And that is the quick market wrap, guys. All done well in time for session open. And gold. So this is all right. This is what I said we often see happen. Now, if this closed weak bullish in the next 8 and a bit minutes leading into London Open, there could be some potential sells off the back of the rejection of this previous support. So that would be below the low of this bullish candle. I'll let you guys know if that I believe that is valid in the next 8 and a bit minutes. In the meantime, Joe, thank you once again, my friend, for the stickers. Joey, appreciate it. Thank you, Joey. YouTube, I'll get it to you. Rastafari, yeah, probably part of the Matrix, who knows, mate. Back and forth with the messages, they're looking into it. Franco, can you sign in with you? No, I can't even get into my account whatsoever. It's up, they've just done an update. So an update into for their MetaTrader terminals, obviously, and it's not allowing me to sign in. I can sign into a demo account, but I can't actually trade it as well. I had a look to see if I can get into any account. The main account as well, I cannot. It just will not let me sign in. I'm not sure if it's a server issue or what the deal is, but they're onto it. So the main thing is the funds are there. I've checked the profile. They have acknowledged that. So who knows? It's all been happening since I changed the modem yesterday. God knows. Rastafari, call him up. Yeah, I've been chatting with them. I literally just got into the door myself not long ago. Carl, usual 100 pip fee. Well, hopefully we'll have that shortly for you. Steve points you. Rastafari's still sells not overextended on gold, and why we move from the high only bearish candles. No, it's not overextended. Reason being is we've had pullbacks within it, so we're triggering buyers at this point here. We've wiped those buyers out, so we've grabbed liquidity from the pullback. So to me, it's nowhere near overextended. Had it come from the highs without any bullish counters within it, then yes, I would be concerned by it. But now that we've obviously triggered in buyers, I'm not as concerned. Aaron, nice one. Good day to you. X now, Natal Colleen. Technical analysis, BTC. Wait. Let me take it over to the chat. Rastafari, all good. TikTok, once again, to Joey, appreciate the stickers. Thank you very much. Thank you to the 60 of you on stream at the minute and the 8 new followers. Anyone else having technical issues, let me know with their IC markets, or is it just my luck? A Bray one-to-one coaching. If I was not, I would not be doing this. I will not put myself out there. Do you think about that question? You think, you make of that what you will. Why would I stream if I wasn't? Do it, show it time and time again. The consistency, the win rate. So yeah, you make of that what you will. What do you think, ETH? Guys, I'll look at a crypto after. Wait for session open. This is predominantly a metal like Forex, gold stream. I only really look into Bitcoin just because people ask about it, but I will not trade it personally. We swept Asian session. You think going up now? Not necessarily, because we've retested the low of the Asian session. We are rejecting it. So I feel the back of that, so long as the new candle creates an upper wick and begins to reject, then breaks the low, good chance will head down to this support, and then I will be billing IC markets for my missed opportunity. That's what will be happening. Not that that'll pay me out, that's for sure. Elves Don 9. No idea. I don't trade for value gaps, but if you have one and you've got the confluence, then by all means you take your entry. Aaron, could you please explain what pip is? I'm new to this. Percent in price, I think is the actual terminology, or point in price, point in percentage, something like that. Just go to this particular website. It will explain it all the terminology and everything. I'll type it into the chat now. So it's like the smallest denominator, basically, number on the price here on gold. So obviously 1 pip is 0.5. So the 1 pip, look, technically it's the point, so it's the final decimal place technically, but we refer to it just for streaming purposes as the actual 10 cent. So the second decimal, the immediate decimal point, first one. That makes sense, as 1 pip. It just depends. Currency pairs have different values. Yen pairs have 3 decimal points. The majors and all that have 5, I think it is. Yeah, so just have a look at baby pips. That will help you out. David, thank you for the sticker as well. Appreciate it. All right, 2.5 minutes, guys. So it's looking good for potential sell options. This looks like it's going to be closing back weak bullish. Off the back of that, we could use a fib just to make sure. And I would say in this situation, we want it to close below 0.5. Seeing it's got a decent lower wick and upper wick already. If it closes around the 0.5 or below, I believe it's a sufficient enough catalyst to suggest that perhaps it's a weak bullish candle pause below the support. We have retested that support. If we've begun to create to reject, first of all, create the upper wick on the new candle, reject and pop below the low, I feel it's a higher probability of price coming back down towards 33.63 before it may potentially bounce yet again. So that is what I would be personally looking at. To my team, I will send you guys a link. Apologies. I'll have a look at your charts as well, team. There's been quite a few this morning. All right. So the entry would be about 2 pips below the low of this candle. Need to wait for session open. You need the new candle to create up a wick. Once it's created its up a wick, you want to enter about 2 pips below the low. Leave room for spread. Carl, my account's all good at the moment. Okay, I don't know if it's something with... Obviously, you're over in the UK, so it could be something with the servers here. Marvin's saying mine seems fine. I don't think... Yeah, definitely had an update. That's what they've said to me as well. So I can see it. I can see it on that particular account that I can log into. But I still can't even trade that. Will not let me trade it. Sebastian, pip currency pairs increase, decrease by value trading measured in so-called pips. Yep, there you go. Price interest point or points in percentage. There you go. Pip is defined as percentage of 1% or 0.001. All right, so if this candle closes even like so, we have a catalyst here. We have 30-minute below the support. You could also have a sell limit order, guys, off the back of this IC candle. So what that would mean is we've had an impulse, we've had a pause, we've engulfed that pause. The new candle creating its upper wick, that is option 1, a limit order sell at the low of that bullish candle. It does in fact pull back further. That will be option 1, stop loss back above. I'd have to stop loss above that bearish candle. Option 2 is it's creating up a wick. If it begins to break the low, I do believe it's not a bad opportunity as well. Stop loss for option 2 would be back above the previous M15 high. So that would be option 2. So limit order sells could come into play. I'll put that up here. Remove that. That's off the back of more so of the M30. Phil, you all right? Okay. Oh, Aaron, yep, nice one. Sort of get that confirmation I'm getting better and learning more. Yeah, never stop learning, mate. There's always heaps to learn. I mean, we're learning all the time at A.C.T. Forex as well. We're picking up on things and trialing different entry models and yeah, we're always adapting. Shorts to the lower order block. Yeah, well, I think shorts are a pretty good option. So option 2 is the self-stop below. Now let's quickly look at the hourly here. All right, hold on. Let's remove these drawings for a minute. All right, you do have an hourly interruption play at this resistance. So the previous support, which could act as resistance off the back of that. You've got multiple options here, guys, for the limit order. You could take the earlier limit order, would be back at that level there. So that would be pretty much at low of that bearish M30, which will be bullish M15 if I'm not mistaken, and bullish hourly candle close. So that is a potential limit order area. But what you could do is you could layer in. So you could have that limit order. You could just layer in a couple positions, your stop loss well above, and have the other one set for that 30-minute interruption play at that point there. What I probably do personally is look for the hourly, the 1 hour tap in. And that would almost be triggered in if anyone is considering that as an entry. Yep, you'd be in it just now. A stop loss in that one should be back above the high, but I wouldn't want it to. I'd probably have it at that point there, just above that M15 candle. Possibly. Looking at the 30. Yeah, have it above the 30. It should not need to break that 30-minute candle's high. Jeffrey can enter gold buys now if you wish. Millionaire mindset. TP would probably be back at previous resistance, which could act, or which actually did act as support. So that's where the actual all TP be set. But I could access my account. I'd be securing in between. So you got about 3 pips on the table just now. I'll let you know how to go about managing it. Just following along just here. See me 54. No buys for me at the minute. Aaron, all good. NHL, what strategy? It's pretty much my own. Mainly price action. You'll learn a lot by watching, mate. How much have I made since started trading? No idea, mate, to be honest. I couldn't tell you. Potential GJ sells OTM. No, I don't see it. It's popped above the resistance. Closed above the resistance. I'd be more inclined to maybe look for the buys off the back of that, but my bias is bearish, so I'd be waiting to see how this candle actually closes now. Close back in the range below, potentially look for sells off the back of that. All popping back up. The sell stop, I mean, it's probably remove it now. Harley, German 40. Let me have a look at it. So it's popping up to the resistance, which, or previous level of support, which could act as resistance. German 40 doing what it does best, just ripping and potentially dumping back down. So I'd be marking that level of support, and I would say if you get the 5-minute rejecting this resistance only to pop below that support, that could be a possible sell opportunity. JC, I can't trade at the minute. I can't get into my terminal. Even buy, not a problem. I agree it's bullish, but I see an opportunity to sell on the way down to a level where I would consider buying it. Linda Smith. Is it? It could potentially. I mean, if this closed bullish engulfing, then what I mentioned about the buys could be a potential option also moving forward, surely. You want to see a bit of 5-minute resistance prior to any buy entry. It's like it's going to pop back up. Alright, so that 30-minute play, that's the other one I did mention before. I'm not sure if anyone had a sell limit at that point. You would have just been triggered in. Back to the 30. Again, I'm not personally in any trades. I can't even get into my terminal to trade at the minute. JC, where should we enter? Wherever you see fit. I mean, of course, potential entries at limit order levels based on the hourly and the M30 here. So potentially you could have an entry just now if you backed it off the M30. And that would mean your stop loss would be above the M30 high. This is pushing back up. All right, so maybe it's just swept Asian session lows only to grab liquidity to head back up. So the buys, and that is to be the case, could be the option, surely. Yeah, wow, look at that. That's really popping up. BJ trying to pop back down into the range below. German 40 trying to break above what was previous support on the fire. Gold looking like it wants to push bullish, so let's see. As limit order is not looking that great in the minute. 30-minute one, you'd be, yeah, just a tiny bit of drawdown. But I mean, if this 15 closes strong bullish engulfing, then to me, it'll be probably more of a buy again, to be honest, because you're back above the support formed at the Asian session low at that point. Again, what I would like to see is perhaps, if that was to be the case, a strong closure here on the 5-minute, followed by a really weak pause candle on the next M5, and look to buy it as the next 15 creates a low wick and begins to break the high of your catalyst to target most recent resistance at 33.74. But limit orders will still be currently in if anyone is actually in any of those positions. Also tapped into a 5-minute IC, did it, Tommy? Okay. Yep, a few of those levels. Rastafari, yeah, it still stops, remove them. Stop Slippy, yeah, I agree. So is it resist? Yeah, for sure. If it does pop back up, reject. Daniel, I'm not in nothing. I'm not in a trade. I cannot access my terminal at the minute. There's a ripe old pain in the backside, but there's not much I can do about it. Yeah, I've got another email. Well, it's pushing through, so yeah, not great if anyone's in that trade. All right, so the wouldn't have worked. There's that Asian session liquidity sweep again that we often see happen. Looks like it's playing its part just now as well. So that could be the play moving forward. It could be potential buys off the back of that. Let's just see. Don't yet have any resistance back above that previous level. What I do like about now is the fact that it's broken the low, it's broken through the low, and it's now popping back above the support, just above the Asian session lows here. So again, it could just be grabbing some liquidity from the downside. Now, if you're trading a limit order based off the 30, you're still well in play here. You should be nowhere near your stop loss in a minute. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, the buys are starting to look more probable, to be honest. Zana, thank you for sharing a live. Possible 4-hour flip price, 4-hour flip. Oh, look at that. Look at the level it's tapped into. Wow. Literally tapped into that candle high and it's bouncing. Well, off the back of that, possibly. Possibly, because the 4 hour is bullish and it obviously is trending bullish. It's pulled back to the level of liquidity, tapping into that resistance, and it's now bouncing off that level. So potentially, who knows, we could have the 4 hour flipping back bullish and we could end up back towards the daily candles high at that point. I mean, you know, the 4 hour, yeah, it's something we just noticed. But you don't have on your broker. I can't tell if I've got my broker or not, so at least you can get into your account. Law Yoshimi, it's a sell, but I missed the entry. But you missed the entry. Depends. I mean, if it took the limit order based off the 30, you're still be actively in this trade. You would be pretty much not far away from your entry. And X, this is where I sold. My stop loss at the wick on the 4 hour candle. Okay, yep. Arafin, good day to you. Hope you're well. OTM, EJ looks like sells off order block. Plus we have news in 2 minutes for, yeah, it's yellow fall news, so not really anything high impact, but it could still have some sort of effect on the euro. Yeah, it's at resistance. It's popped up to the high of the day. Definitely a level I would look for some sell opportunities from. It is definitely bearish as well here. Has tapped into support though, so at the back of that, you don't have much else going for it. There isn't a great deal of margin. Yeah, to me, it's more of a sell. You really, you know, you could even mark that level in and wait for a pullback to that point for a sell. That'll be another option. But daily would have flipped back bullish. There's a lot of liquidity around this level. These candles, these wicks. There's likely going to be some sell pressure within it, so it would be an opportunity to look for sells from those highs. Alright, so let's quickly look at BTC. Someone did ask about before. Again, I've mentioned all throughout, as long as we really remain above 105 flat, I do believe we're still quite bullish. Look what the daily has done though. It's tapped into a previous level of support here, which was a 4 level if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, most recent resistance, we are respecting it. 4 hour has formed support at it. We are now back at that level just now. So if price was to begin to close below on a 4 hour, I do believe good chance we could end up back towards that 111, 112 sort of level again. Onto the minor time frames here. Still a bit choppy to the downside, but the structure at the minute is to the downside on the 15. So if we do now confirm a lower low, then potentially that could be your catalyst to look for some sell options with your stop loss potentially above the swing here, targeting. It's a very choppy area. It's not the way I'd go about it personally, but you probably target that 113 all the way down to 112. Frustrating, really frustrating, guys. Apologies. 100 Sleepy, thoughts on gold? Well, there could be people in sells based off limit orders, which will not be going so well at the minute. Otherwise, if it did close now on the 30 back above, and for instance bullish engulfing, that in itself is a catalyst to look for a potential buy. You've got some 5-minute resistance here as well, so we've still got the best part of 13 minutes, 12 minutes left of this M30. So perhaps if the 5-minute we do get some sort of rejection and then end up closing back bullish back above the resistance, closing M30 back bullish engulfing as well. That could be enough to buy it, but it could make the move up just now. So we should clip it, set your prevention and leave it, trust your trade. Yep, that's what you should always do. You lost a trade early on gold tip. Add you're in a sell on gold. Should I close it? Loss or hold? You should have a plan, mate. You should have a plan. It's not looking good for the sells at the moment. Now it's broken the 15 high. Looks like it could potentially head back up towards this resistance. Price been slow start sort of week after that big news week last week. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been on the charts all that much, to be honest. We're not actively looking at trades. No, first I want to start trading, but don't know how to start. What should I do? Once again, go to this website. It's important because it will help you in regards to terminology and, you know, what sort of other websites you can utilize that are also for free to help you along your journey. Maybe download this app as well, free as well, and that's what I'm using right now. And it just helps you with charts. You can search any ticker symbol, whether it be Forex, equities, metals, indices, whatever it is, you can search up here. If you're not sure what a ticker symbol is, just type it into Google or something. That will help you out. Marathon the weekend. We speak about it yesterday. It was all right, mate. Frustration. All right, let's have a look at some members charts here. That was all right. I'm not sure how that went. Yeah, I like the plan though, especially for the sales. Them closure below, retest, continuation, closure back above, which is looks like what it's trying to do just now, for a potential pullback buy. You got break even, Tommy, on those buys. Okay, fair enough. Franco, GU, so it's in a bit of a range. You're avoiding the current level. Let's quickly look at it. Yeah, a bit tricky. Does look better above the highs of the day, the Asian session range high, and just a little bit below that point. Quickly look at EU as well. Likely to be very similar. Looks a little bit better for potential buy options. I've just marked that in. I'll have a look at your chart shortly. Yeah, so closures above that point there. Let me mark it in to know an exact number. 115.614 to be exact. There'll be a bullish engulfing close on the 30 as well. That would be obviously a closure above on a 15-minute resistance as well, in the 15-minute time frame. So that could also be a potential little buy option off the back of that. Let me have a look at your chart though once again. Okay, so you're looking for sells before. I don't think you would have been triggered in. Yeah, I think you're at the same level. Oh, actually your level is a little bit higher up by the looks of things. Oh, gold. Wow. Daily potentially flipping back bullish here. So let's mark in the next level. Yeah, I really want to see some sort of pause here, to be honest. That's a very strong London open candle. Let's look at the 30 again. Let's measure this move on the current 30. It's almost 80 pips already. Wow. Okay, you didn't take it yourself. Fair enough, mate. Don't blame me. Gold. Memphis, is there an app I can practice on? Yeah, MetaTrader, but sign up to a broker, a reputable one, and download the app through them. I think you can trade demo, if I'm not mistaken, just by downloading a MetaTrader app, MetaTrader 5, without signing into a broker. I'm pretty sure you can. I know you used to be able to. I'm not sure though if all the updates if you can. Price, nice flip. It is at the minute. Arafin, hope it rejects. Can't find any backtesting sites. Trade Casa is a pretty good one. What I use, so I'll type that in. Swisher, Clipper, solid counter volume in 1 minute. It's just solid volume in general. It's bounced off. To be honest, level I wouldn't have anticipated bouncing off, but again, it can do whatever it wants. Price often doesn't always repeat, but often rhymes. But in this case, none of that. So it's not quite pulled back to the level I would have likely have thought it would do so, but it's obviously not done that. So meantime, bouncing. But again, I would like to see it exhaust a little bit, triggering some sort of sell pressure. So you've closed the 5. Wow, could this just rocket ship up potentially? Kevin, indicator, this is Asian range indicator, so it just measures the low and high of the Asian session, and you can adjust the times accordingly. So I've got it set for literally the Japanese open, Japanese market open, finance market open, sorry, currency market open, until EU open. That's what I got it set as. But technically Asian session is still open as we speak, open until 7 PM my time, so until for another hour and a half. Push a Clipper, yep, it definitely could. It's still, I agree, it is still bullish. It still is very bullish. Nothing would change in regards to that until we start closing below support here. That's on the minor time frame. The 4 hours definitely bullish. We've got strong daily candle formations to the upside. Got a weekly also very bullish at the minute. So off the back of that, the bias is 4v0 bullish. So hence why sells are tricky, especially, yeah, limit orders would have been wiped out. Super bust the Cotty. Already one buy, but want to take another. Nice one. Ors, Asia sweep, break block, fair value gap entry, target Asian high. Fair enough. Definitely swept below. It's something we see often happen. Sweep the high, come back down, sweep below, come back up. But not always. Sometimes a retest and continue in line with the direction of the sweep. Which Clipper doesn't like, it's got the power to push through. I mean, it's made a strong move as it is. This M30 has got more than 80 pips to it at the minute. Off the back of that, it's a very strong catalyst, guys, but a pip push, I look at it thinking, well, if I couldn't manage to find a way in from lower down, I need to let it reset. So what I would need to see is a minimum some 5-minute bearish candles popping in, maybe a little swing here on the M5. Tommy took you out. Yeah, fair enough, mate. Live loot, SBY. Looks to be also very bullish. Yeah, after the, so it's pretty much the exact same as NAS. Off the back of the rejection of last week, we're already forming a very strong bullish weekly candle. Current candles are high low, higher high, marking both levels of the daily. See what we've got either side of it. Looking at the 4-hour, was previous support. So if price was to continue bullish, not much need to pop below that point there. If it does, it would trigger a deeper sell-off. That's the current 4-hour mini range, but I just adjust this resistance to these highs. Yeah, so not a great deal of volume as to be expected this time of day on it. But what I would be looking for is trades either A, on continuation above, B, from support in regard, this is in regards to the buyers. And as for sells, if we pop back down to support, only to pop below it, retest and begin to pull away. Now I believe that could trigger a deeper sell-off, potentially back down to previous level of resistance here to the left. So that could be an option to take a sell off the back of that. Wow, how's that on gold? Strong push at market open here for the London session. I personally looking at it thinking I've missed the best part of this move. Popping straight out without the upwick, I would definitely need a pause here. Need some 5-minute, some sort of pullback on a 5. Rate that high or low, and then see what sort of options. Otherwise, it's just not my move. I would have to wait and see how price reacts to resistance before I can once again consider any potential trade options. The only other thing I could potentially get involved in is, in fact, we do have a little pause candle interruption play. And whether it's upon continuation or the limit order buy back at the high of that candle, that is another potential option, but that is still a way off presenting at the minute. This thing's just popped up about 100 pips since market open. Sell? No, I wouldn't be selling it just now. Exhaustion, buying, nothing at the minute. I'd be preferring look for buy options though. This from XAUUSD, 30-minute might close bullish engulfing. Yep, definitely has. Rastafari, you want some sort of exhaustion before taking buys. This is now overextended for you. Yes, off the back of that one candle. Issue is you got a very wide stop loss as well. Yeah, I definitely want to see a bit of a pause now, minimum on the 5-minute. Trigger in some sellers yet again, create a swing low, create the high low, and then potentially see what sort of options I could get from a little bit lower down, or maybe above the continuation, above the high, with your stop loss below the swing point on the 5-minute. Because had this not come from so far back, the current price action to me is actually really good. The fact that we popped straight up at the open, and we've only now popped back down to create a low wick, tapping into this resistance. Normally in this situation, if price was to begin to flip and break its own high, I would normally take an entry. Because with no need for us to now, in the way I see it, would be no need for us to pop back up now and break our own high if we were to continue bearish. However, if we did so, then likely what we've done is just grabbed a little bit more liquidity from the downside here, from the previous resistance, from the range below, And once we begin to break the high, there's a higher probability that we're going to continue up to the next level of resistance. So we're likely just grabbing some more sell orders that were left behind, bringing those guys in and wiping them out, drawing more buy pressure, more pressure to the upside, and finally to make the move up to the resistance here. That's just logically what I would be thinking, but again, it's already made such a push without any sort of exhaustion, so would not personally be looking for that. So let's see what happens here on the 5. Jeffrey BTC looks solid for sells. Potentially. I mean, we are forming structure to the downside here. Do have the minor time frame being quite bearish. So yeah, as I mentioned before, wanted to see it close below this support, confirm the lower low. And maybe that could be your first potential sell option. That would look something like so. Stop loss safely above, and you have a wider target, targeting maybe the 4-hour support. But to me, it's not a trade I would personally take if it was, for instance, on gold here, because we don't have clean traffic. I mean, for gold, on BTC here, you've got about $60 move by the looks of it. And then you're running into more support and straight into more support. So it's not the cleanest to the downside. Thank you to new followers, guys. Appreciate it. Update for me personally, because I cannot access my terminal at the moment. Still don't have a clear answer from IC markets. They're claiming it could be an internet issue, but it's not an internet issue. Not be an internet issue, otherwise I wouldn't be streaming. Had a few issues with them in the past, similar sort of problems. Probably what I will have to do is just open up a new live account and just send the funds from the current one to a new one. That's probably what I should have done. But anyway, do that possibly after the stream. All right, so no exhaustion at the minute, guys. So looks like we can make the move. And again, price action would not surprise me if it did just make the move up. Then it has actually just pulled back right at the lower wick, begin to break above its high again. Let's quickly look at it in the 1 minute time frame here, so you guys can see what I mean. So obviously that was the candle open, the new M30 popped straight up. We've now created that lower wick. We're now breaking our own high again. We'll know. Just Raymond by BTC. No, I mentioned before I'd be more bearish. Where to buy it, I would rather wait for a structural flip here on the minor time frame. So closure above most recent resistance, 114.520. We confirmed the lower low just now. In the next 8 minutes, that's where structural flip back bullish. At that point, we're expecting 4-hour support as well. So if we end up back above this level, then again, that could trigger in more buyers, and we could end up back towards the resistance again at 115.300. Hey man, is it too late to jump into buys and gold? I think it's a little overextended, the back of that candle, without any sort of exhaustion. So yeah, I would still wait personally. Goodbye to Shazabalok, whatever your name is, mate. Goodbye. Don't come on here promoting any service. Once again, guys, don't be daft. If anyone sends you a DM from the chat, or even saying they're me with my profile and all that, it's not me. So do not answer it or just block the person straight away. I'll never send you guys any direct message without you initiating contact. If you want to know anything about what I do, or you just want to say g'day, always feel free to send me a message and I'll happily reply. I reply to every single message I get. Lewis, no, I'd be more looking for the buys, but wanting some sort of exhaustion here on the M5. So we've come from the lows of the day to the current level. That's more than an 80 pip push without any exhaustion. So let's just once again measure that. Yeah, almost 100 pips without any sort of exhaustion here. So it looks like we could now trigger in some sell, or it could be on the 5 minute. Dondre, EJ, we had a look at it before. So my bias on EJ would be bearish. It'd just be a matter of where to sell from. My preference would be for it to come back up towards 170, 350, 40, 170, 450 and look for rejection from that point there. But if it did reject this current level, what we have done is once again similar to gold, but in the opposite direction here. We're swept the high of the day, the Asian session. We swept the resistance just above that point too. So if we end up closing back below it, the issue is the entry for me on the M15 is below this support. So that's where you could look for sells below 170.88. BTC falling hard. Let's have a look, Jeffrey. Yeah, well, there you go. Like I said, more bearish than bullish at the moment. The short term. Long term, still very bullish though. All right, could have our first little exhaustion here on the 5 minute here on gold. So for Abdi, no, I wouldn't be selling it at the minute. Use a possible liquidity grab. DXY hitting a resistance zone now. Yeah, potentially. I mean, DXY is also flipped back bearish. So if we do reject a high of the day, yep, the previous daily was a weak bullish closure. We have low high, low low. So if we respect this level, then perhaps we could come back down towards the daily low and below beyond that point. And we've got some very clean traffic as well. So coupled with that fact, if it does reject, then more likely than not, gold will push bullish, but not always the case, as you guys know my opinion of it, those who do watch this stream regularly. They don't always inversely correlate. For the most part, yes, they will. Switch your clipper, you want this third candle, so sell it, you're looking for sells, fair enough. Yeah, German 40 melting. Yeah, I did mention that too, guys. Did I not say let it reject this resistance, which previous support, which could act as a resistance for our level here to the left, and you want a 5 minute closure below. It's done that. It's pulled back to tap in, and it's now rejecting. So you could have had opportunities off the back of that to trade German 40, and that would have been a profitable trade as well. So if anyone did take it, nice work. Don't really think anyone would have though. But that was a trade called as well. Discipline is key. Sorry, A-man first. What do you mean by exhaustion? So prices come from the low of the day. It's traded within the first 30 minutes of London and pretty much 100 pip push without any, apart from this one bearish candle at the very beginning. But otherwise, we come from basically the low to high, just straight bullish. So I look at it thinking that if I was to buy above the high of that particular candle, I'm buying it perhaps 100 pips too late. If I couldn't manage to find a buy entry from lower down, there's no real reason for me to buy it 100 pips up, if you understand what I mean. A few issues with that, not as much margin. Your stop loss is a wide one. Plus, again, I'm not confident we would have the necessary liquidity to continue bullish without maybe pulling back prior to it to grab some more liquidity from the downside in order to make the move back up. So what it's doing just now is creating that exhaustion. We've got some 5 minute candles now forming bearish. We've got the previous one bearish, current one looks likely to close back bearish. So we are now pulling back within the range to potentially create a high low, maybe pick up some of those missed orders that price just push straight through on the way to the upside. Off the back of that, that could be grabbing the necessary liquidity in order for us to make the move. If we begun to break the high of the initial push, that the volume to make the move up to the resistance here at 33, 80, 79, 80, that sort of region. Off the back of that though, you could potentially look for some buy options a little bit lower down. Depends on price action. I would preference a 15 closing back bullish prior to it. I mean, wait and see what presents shortly. This makes key. Gold is doing cardio right now and needs to drink some water. Continue up. That's what exhaustion means, pretty much. Yeah, amen. So that's my opinion of it. That's what I meant by trade delicious. Good morning to you. Chris started for shits and giggles and too many TikToks, 100 lost within, I'd say, 15 seconds. Yeah, be careful, mate. Be very careful. That's trading. So many people have been there, done that. I've been there, I've done that. Blew multiple accounts at the very beginning. Steve, do you trade crypto? Not really. I mean, I do look at BTC and ETH. For the most part, I'm only vested in ETH personally. Can you follow me? I do not follow anyone. Actually, I follow one account. That's how you know it's the real me, by the way, guys, if you're not sure. All the fake accounts have many people they follow for obvious reasons, trying to scam them into some bullshit service. Hey man, all good. Can you explain buy limits, sell limits, and stops? I've tried to understand it. So basically what a buy limit is and a sell limit. So for a buy limit, it's when you're placing an order below the current market price. So let's just say I wanted to buy it from this point here. Then what I'd be doing is setting a buy limit at that particular level. In anticipation, price is going to pull back, tag you in, bounce off that level, and you take some profit. So that's the limit order. Sell limit is the opposite. So if you're looking to sell it from higher up, so above the market price, for instance, this resistance, if you're anticipating price is going to pull back, you've got some analysis to suggest to you that would be a good entry point, and you just set a limit order at the back of that at that particular level. That is what a sell limit is. So above the current market price. Stop orders, a continuation entry. So for instance, if I was looking to sell gold as price begun to break the low of this previous 5-minute candle, I would place a sell stop below the low of this candle. So you're getting in with the momentum, in with the direction. In anticipation, you're prior to it, you got a reason, you got a catalyst, you got a signal within your price action, within your analysis to take an entry. Buy stop, obviously above the current market price. So for instance, if you're looking to buy it above the most recent swing point, that's where you place a buy stop order. So it's just opposite. Hopefully that helps you out, my friend. All right, M15 close. So this is better, guys. We've triggered in some sellers now. So we've got some exhaustion here on 15. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we actually begin to pop back up. And if this closed back strong bullish, then for me, it would be a fantastic indication to take a buy on the open of the new hourly candle. If not, then maybe it just needs to pull back further. And yeah, we'll see. Thank you to the new sub. Just a reminder, guys, on TikTok, as of next week, midweek, towards the end of the week, I'll be missing a stream or two next week. I'll be in transit next Wednesday and we'll be on a flight, so I won't be on stream. But once I get to my destination, it's going to be very difficult for me to stream on TikTok. Last year I had issues with it, even with a VPN. It continues to ban me. It bypassed the VPN, and I got 4 strikes, I think it was, and I lost the account. I actually got it back. This is the account that I lost, and that was for 6 months. I think it was gone. So what you need to do is, at some point, you need to jump across to the YouTube stream, or there goes my internet. Yeah, at some point need to, maybe they're trying to log me in, who knows. Some point you need to log into the YouTube stream, well, not check into the YouTube stream and sub to the YouTube channel where you can see me stream without any issues on YouTube. So that is a must. Just look me up. It's the exact same profile name. So just check this out. Search that up on YouTube and you'll find me. Real or bull? Barrel bull, I think you mean. What's the XRP hype? Roaring gorilla. Well, I think people think it's basically going to be the new Swift system adopted as pretty much Swift of crypto, I suppose. Cross-border transactions, I have no idea. I don't follow it. I don't know a great deal about it. Apparently it is being already trialed and used by some of the major banks. I think my particular bank account here, I think they do use Ripple technology at the minute, if I'm not mistaken. Not that I trust banks. Yeah, thanks for this up. Saf's live bearish. To me, it's a little bit more bullish than bearish, to be honest. To the downside here, you would need some sort of support to form prior to any entry. So what we've done is we've pulled back to most recent resistance formed on the move down to the downside within the daily candle, which is actually formed bearish. So if we remain bearish here on the daily, close back the 30 bearish, and within it we've at least got 5-minute support. Off the back of that, the sells would make more sense for me. But if this just closes straight bearish down, then I'd just rather wait for it to pull back down, form some support again to look for some potential buy options. I won't quite have a catalyst at the moment on the M30 because a single candle catalyst is a bearish engulfing candle or strong bearish lower high lower low. It's obviously not going to do that. If it was to do that in the next 9.5 minutes, there'd be other issues such as stop loss. There'd be no margin as well. So either way, it's probably not the signal I'd be wanting to see. So what I want to see within it, again, is some support form. And at this point, it has to be on the 5. Tommy, yeah, I'll be on later on with you guys. All good, bro. All good. I'll catch you later. Wish it clipper. Can I check the 1 minute? Yeah, the 1 minute's showing some nice structure. Just not my time frame. But I mean, this is the kind of thing you really want to see to look for some potential sell options. But again, even if it was on the 5 minute, at least it give me something that I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with it on the 1 minute to trust it. Franco, are you melting? Yeah, it is too. Wow, Major's shitting the bed. Aussie dollar. What's to do with the Aussie dollar? Swish clip, all good. Dylan, yeah, I've had better days, to be honest. Got issues with my trading terminal, so I can't access that. To be honest, I had a pretty shit day all up, so wanted to belt a living suitcase out of someone today. Davey, I don't trade it, and I wouldn't have been looking for buys on EU. Not at all. Said sells below support. Potential buys will be upon a closure above that resistance. That's what I mentioned. But it's continuing to sell off, so EU looks quite bearish. Swisher Clipper set live time. It just depends on the day. So tomorrow I'll be on from about an hour and 10 minutes prior to London Open. For the most part, it's around that time, but Tuesdays and Fridays it's closer to the Open, about 30 minutes prior. Merns, AJ, would you now go on sell, or no? Again, I'd be waiting for a little bit of support prior to it, so maybe a 5-minute little pause. But the minutes are straight up, straight down. Could potentially be forming some structure here, but don't yet have that confirmation. So for Abdi, where I think I've dropped to, or could retest the daily low. Forward swisher clipper. Davey, have you left? Yeah, left 2 years ago, mate. Or about 18 months ago, year and a half. Well, I was pretty much running it for the last year and a bit, so might as well just do it myself. Lintel Victoria. What about GJ? What about it? All right, interesting. GJ is looking a lot more interesting now because my bias is bearish. What we have done is form some support above the Asian session high here. If we were to pull back below it, bearish engulfing play as well. So this would be almost a perfect signal to sell if this candle closes just a little fraction lower down below that blue zone, engulfing that bullish candle back below the resistance. The back of that, you'd be wanting, so let's have a look at the hourly. The hourly will also close back bearish. You'd want the new hourly just to create a bit of an upper wick. As it begins to break the candles low, that could be a potential entry. But I'd really love for it to close a little bit stronger at this point, just a tad below that zone. So obviously bearish, not bullish. Then await an upper wick and sell stops below of your catalyst candle. That is something I would personally consider. So have a look at German 40 again. Once again, that was the move. Well done again if anyone took advantage of that earlier call here on German 40. EU pulling back up a bit, so still respecting the support. GU, quickly have a look at that. Yep, also respecting support. GU's a bit messy at the minute. AU consolidating. EA, I haven't looked at that today. That is one I do potentially want to pick up on. I did love trading it back in the day. Maybe we'll wait until tomorrow to start looking at that again. Offline, yeah, looked at it a few times. Obviously just looked at it again just now, so yeah, I've been waiting to see how this candle actually closes. You know, okay, styles effects or prop firms good, not my experience, but it doesn't mean they're all bad. You just got to choose the right one. Once again, I had a very bad experience with one of them. It scarred me. It really put me off. Have since purchased, well, not purchased, I've not paid for it. Got it in my basket, an FDMO account challenge, but I've not actually paid for it. One day I will, likely. Switch the clip, okay. Popping back up. Let's look at a 1 minute again. Yeah, not much going on. Pulling back. Switch your clipper. Good luck to you, mate. Cheers. You know, K-Style, should we buy? No, I don't think it's a strong enough signal just yet to buy it. No, That's it, Khan. Thank you for the sticker. I appreciate it. All right, let's have a look at the 15 again. Could we be flipping back bullish? So we really want to close above the bodies of the candles here to the left. So I wouldn't be completely writing off buys at the minute. But a nice strong bullish engulfing M5. And what I would prefer to see is if this candle rip in the next minute and a half, closing up right up near the high. That would be fantastic. And that would in fact close the hourly bullish engulfing, so that's another strong catalyst. So off the back of that, that really is the level where we love for it to close above that horizontal. It's going to close the hourly bullish engulfing as well. Going to close this strong on the 5. It's going to close this above the bodies of the candles to the left here on the 15. Yeah, above that level. So potentially, Dr. Waleed, I'm selling from price of 33.42. What do you think for it to fall? Yeah, I would not be in this trade anymore. If you're in a 300 pip drawdown, don't hold on your hope, my friend. It's actually bullish. The structure is bullish. The price is bullish. So you need to have a plan. But there's no way I'd still be in it. All right. Would come down to price action upon the closure of this 1 hour candle. Pop up just a little fraction more and so it's popping down. Yeah, it's not the strongest closure on the 15. 1 hour looks fantastic. Ooh, that would be quite tempting. It's got no upper wick. It's not quite tapping into. I would have preferred that actually closed above and would tap into that level without the upper wick. So I don't quite have a catalyst, to be honest, guys. I wouldn't quite have a buy catalyst at the minute. Again, plan was for it to close minimum engulfing on the hourly or above the bodies of the candles here to the left. We have rejected that point. So are we potentially just going to respect this resistance on the minor time frame and head back down to the low? That would be my little concern at the minute. So without that price action catalyst, I can't do much about it for the time being. GJ end up closing above, so there'd be no entry in that regard as well, because are we now just creating that high low in order to pull back up to the next resistance where would be another good option to sell it from? Let's quickly look at the majors again. GU closed back above support, nothing there. EU above the actual low within the zone itself. AU, yeah, shouldn't have bed. EJ, a few people asked about that today, so we're not closing back below. Still the same entry point. You want closures below 170.88 roughly. UJ, I've not looked at that today. Quickly take a look at it for anyone who might be interested. Weekly is bearish, has a low high, low low. Daily has flipped back bullish, has low high, low low. Marking the daily low and high, so we've got either side of that point there. The 4 hour, it's bearish in structure as well. The counter probabilities are bullish. I'll keep that as resistance, as support, sorry. Mark that in as resistance and down to the minor time frame here. So I just adjust that zone. Once the upside, I keep it in at that point there. We're just, all right, so we're just broken and closed above a resistance by the looks of it. Could be some decent buy options above the high of that previous 1 hour candle. Let's quickly look at it, how that candle closed. Yeah, not the greatest sort of signal. I would have preferred for that to close stronger, but you have closed above a resistance. Let's just tap back in. I mean, limit orders based off the IC candle would be in play. You could almost be in a trade just now, or you can maybe look to take it if it begins to flip. That's my opinion of UJ. I'd be looking to buy it, seeing it is bullish in the minor time frame here, and seeing it has created support at previous support here to the left on a 4-hour. Yeah, not a bad option. Just quickly again having a look at gold here. Yeah, could just consolidate for the time being. So for me on gold, what I'd be waiting for is be now just marking this level of resistance on the minor time frame here, and if price was to pop above it, as long as you have the margin, there could be some nice buys up towards the resistance here on a 4-hour. You could even adjust that zone just now at that point there. That would be your target, 33.80, 80.5 roughly. Otherwise, if we begin to close below this candle's low, it is actually supports a bullish candle. There could be options to sell it. I would not sell it if this candle closed below on the M15 because it got no upper wick, and the hourly candle also has no upper wick. So there's still a high probability and a good chance it could pull back to create that wick. So wouldn't want to be caught out in any of those that potential scenario playing out. So prior to an entry below, prioritize an upper wick on this candle. If it doesn't present, then I'd be just waiting for it to pull back. The lower the better. If it respects support, the options to buy it. Once again, if we come from these highs without exhaustion, I would prefer to see price bounce off it, then close below to consider some sells, take it back down to the 15-minute support. That is pretty much how I play gold. Not much margin below the low low. So a bit of a tricky one today, guys. A frustrating one for me. I can't trade at the minute. Hopefully that will be sorted soon. Yeah, that's pretty much how I see things at the minute. And a faceless digital mama, how much of your funds do you invest in to an account to gain $300 per day? Just look, it all depends. It depends on what you're willing to risk per trade. Depends on your individual circumstances as well, what you can afford to lose, because the reality is, especially as a new trader, you're likely going to make mistakes. You're likely going to look at things the wrong way. You're likely going to trade based on emotions and things like that. And you're likely going to blow an account or two. So I would not recommend chasing a figure that's going to lead to trading based on emotions. Just concentrate on doing things right. Become consistent. Prove to yourself that you can follow a plan, that you have the discipline to actually react to your plan. Prove to yourself you got a decent win record and you're profitable over a stretch of time. And then you can start thinking about profits, how much you like to try to get towards, have some sort of goals. Can I analyze silver? S? I will, only because I love silver. Otherwise I was about to call it, to be honest. But yeah, let's look at silver. All right, so looking at it in the weekly, once again, a previous weekly strong bearish, have tapped into some resistance here to the left. Current weekly pulling back quite significantly into that previous weekly candle. I'm still extremely bullish in regards to silver for the longer term side of things. Daily counter probability to the upside, bounced off some support here. Marking the high and low of, got a message, of the daily candle, and see what we've got either side of that point. 4-hour is technically bearish in structure, but we are just consolidating. We have obviously created a higher low, higher high, but would not flip the actual structure itself. We've not closed above this swing point, which I believe is the last significant lower high. So as long as we remain below that point there, the way I see it, we're technically bearish on 4-hour time frame. So based off that time frame, I would prefer to sell. It doesn't mean I would not entertain buy options. So let me see what we've got here on the minor time frame. All right, onto the M15. I just now adjust these zones. Let me zoom in. All right, that will do. So that is the most immediate range on the 4-hour anyway. We've got minor support here. We're kind of now just consolidating within a range. So above it looks good for buys. Yep, looks really good for buys. The 15-minute structure itself would have flipped back bullish. The way I see it, it's technically bearish. It created a lower low just here. Or has it? Hang on, no, it's still bullish. Yeah, we've not closed above this swing high. So it's still technically bullish. We've whipped above, but not closed above. All right, so yeah, off the back of that, if we were to once again pop up, retest the Asian session highs and begin to retest it, so close above it, retest it, begin to pull away. We have some clean traffic to the left for some potential buy options off the back of that. And aside from that, once again, if we do sweep the high only to pop back below, it could be an opportunity to take sell. And I'd also look for price to make a pullback towards the 4-hour support before looking for potential buys. It's just stuck in a range. It's a choppy range. Can't really do much within it at the minute. So I just let it clear this mess before looking for potential options. But all in all, I'm stacking silver, physical silver. I do believe it's a good way forward. I do believe there is more potential upside than gold, although also very bullish on gold. Platinum's another one I'm extremely bullish on. I think there's a lot of potential upside to platinum as well. Anyone interested? Uranium, I think it's a good one. Samsung TV, never heard of Delta, no idea what it is. Mac Mitchell, good day to you. Aaron, how about are you trading the DAX now, or still just really looking at it? Start trading EA? Yeah, I mean, potentially EA. To be honest, I'm for the most part, I'm at the gym that time of day. So, Lufter A, blowing account, you mean prop firm account? Blown live accounts, personal funds, blown a couple of those in the past, in the beginning. The prop firm was not blown. It was a bullshit rule that they'd made up along the way, not just to not pay me out when I was about to request a payout. So discipline scheme, I've got issues with my terminal. They didn't update and I've got issues. Rastafari, real Batman. Alrighty team, well, that's the day. I can't do anything. Hopefully, again, it should be sorted by tomorrow. I'll just pop the funds into another live account that will surely sort it out. Yeah, so see how we go. Guys, do trade safe, do take care, don't do anything stupid. Do have some high impact news a couple hours into MY if anyone is trading later on. To my team members, I will see you guys later. Franco, no problem, mate. I assume you're a bit busy later on, so not a problem, my friend. Hope all is well. Yeah, to my team members though, to the other guys, will be on in a couple hours or so from now. You guys know the drill. We'll see what can come on with free MY, and hopefully I'll have it all sorted by then. TikTok, YouTube, thank you for your support. Yeah, not much for me today, but good luck to you guys. Take care, trade safe, don't do anything stupid. Till tomorrow. Guys, have a good one. And cheers, my friends. Bye for now.